A local man started changing his life and others while still in school. So what was the big change? Well, eating healthier, and now he's helping more local kids to love healthy meals and beat obesity. Eyewitness News reporter Roxy Bustamante explains how the chef program works and how you can help.
From chopping to sautéing, students learning firsthand lifelong skills through the art of cooking.
It's amazing.
Culinary health education for families, also known as CHEF, offers programs geared to teach children and their families healthy eating.
Some of them have never tasted some of these vegetables before. In our recipes, we include those fruits and vegetables so that they're able to taste it, try it, and really we usually get them hooked after the first bite.
The goal, to fight childhood obesity by taking their program into local schools at no cost to the districts. And according to San Antonio Metro Health, Bexar County obesity rates continue to rise, endangering the lives of thousands of children.
There's a lot of children that are starting to get prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure by the time that they're 13 years old. And we really want to see that slow down and eventually come to an end.
The CHEF program is currently taught in 11 elementary schools, but they are in need of volunteers to expand their program.
You're always learning, you never stop learning.
Alexander Castillo knows firsthand the impact of this program.
It was a big transformation for me, and it's been a long journey.
He was a junior in high school when he started incorporating the healthy cooking and lifestyle, causing him to lose weight and push for change at his school.
130 pounds lost. From 370 where I started to about 234. I incorporated a salad bar and a fitness night at my school. It changed everybody's perspective on health and wellness.
Now as a mentor, he's sharing his story to show how the program can change a child's life.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. As soon as you take that single step, you can accomplish anything.
Roxy Bustamante.
You have to create your own masterpiece.
KENS 5 Eyewitness News.